How many people have ever set a goal? Well, can it be a goal to be where you're at right now? Wherever you are, can it be a goal to be where you are? Of course not, because if this is going to be a goal, where do you have to be in relationship to that goal? You've got to be somewhere else, because let's just say you're over here. So this is where you're starting, right here. Now, if you're going to get to that goal, whatever it is, you have to go in that direction. You have to take. Now, that means if you're taking action, that means that you are in motion. Now, why is motion so important? Motion is so important for one critical part of life, and that is called precession. Now, precession is a technical term that's used in physics, and it's a universal term. There is no exceptions. It's just like gravity. It always works. Precession is eternal. It's interaccommodated with all other generalized principles. So this exists, whether you like it or not. Gravity exists on planet Earth. Precession also is there too on planet Earth. So why is it so important? Well, let's go through this and we'll look at it, okay? Now I'm drawing here, use your imagination a little bit, then I just created here a flower. So that's the flower. So hopefully you can see that as a flower. Now what I'm going to do over here, you're going to really have to use your imagination here. I am now going to make a, okay, and that is a bee. Okay, now a bee goes to the flower to get what? It goes to the flower to get what? It goes to get nectar. And the nectar is then made into honey. Okay? Now, it's going after honey. Honey, 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 honey. Okay? But what's its true purpose? What's its true purpose? Precession, what's happening at 90 degrees to that direction. What is going on down here? And this is always at 90 degrees in the direction of the flight path when you're in motion. So what is going on down here is what? Cross-pollination. What you're doing here is the bigger purpose, or the true purpose of your life, is at 90 degrees in the direction you're going. And you may or may not ever know what this is. The Great Spirit or God or whatever you want to call it has a higher purpose for what you're doing in action. So you start to understand that precession is universal, it's happening, and so when you're in motion, precession can happen and will happen and does happen. You don't have a vote, just like you don't have a vote on gravity. So if you go back and now look at this here, if you're taking action, you're in motion. So when you say something is a goal and you're here, what are you saying about here? Wherever you are, what? You say, this isn't it. This isn't it. Wherever you are over here, this isn't it. Because what your goal is more important than where you are. So if it isn't it, then you take action, get in motion, and then what happens, of course, is that your true purpose, although not necessarily ever known, is going to be this way, down here. You may or may never know this, but that's why you've got to have this going on. That's why goals are set. So when you say this isn't it, that's part of the life game, because this isn't it. What's the amazing thing about this isn't it? Is it? Because making this isn't it keeps you in action, keeps you in motion, and allows precession. And precession is The Great Spirit's way of getting what he wants done. You know, humans are honey money seeking bees. And so what they're doing here is they're going after the nectar to make honey. But processionally, they're doing so much more with so much less. This is called a fertilization, that we now have a position now where if we all cooperated, everyone could be living at a higher standard of living than anyone ever dreamed possible. And it all came from procession, and this isn't it. Because going after the money isn't it. It's really over here. Once you make $1 million, you know that isn't it. When you get $2 million, it's not it. You get all the money you want to make, it's still never it. And if you stop and retire, do nothing, most people die very quickly. Just remember that this isn't it, is it?